Need the spotlight. There we go. Well, the funny thing is we'll start in a minute, but I'm going to let the mysterious hand keep drawing, and I will and I will make some announcements in 22 seconds, and maybe I'll do it without screen sharing. And we'll see how that works. So welcome, everybody. I love this beginning. I've been dying for interesting things to happen on Zoom. I think good things happen on Zoom, but not like surprising things. Actually, that's not really true. We get some surprises usually by the end of the workshop, rarely at the beginning. So suddenly, so astoundingly. Anyway, loving this mysterious hand. Anyway, welcome everybody. It's the Sequential Artists Workshop. It's the Friday night We Believe in Comics workshop. Tonight is with Lawrence Lindell. I'm really excited that Lawrence is here because first, he's awesome. Second, Lawrence said, yeah, it'll be a year since my last workshop, which I couldn't believe. Means we've been doing them a year, because I think Lawrence was like second or third one we had. Related to that, Emma was just saying, saw Saw skipped its 10th birthday and we didn't even do anything. And I was like, oh yeah. So, all right. So the workshop's been around a year. Saw's been around almost 11. We got to do better at marking our birthdays. Thanks for the hands up. Anyway, we've got some courses coming up, but they're selling out fast. If you go to learn.sawcomics.org, I'll put all this stuff in the chat. In fact, I'm going to put it in the chat now. You'll hear about some of those. They're selling out. I'm putting this stuff in the chat and we can watch the drawing, although the paper is stopped. Let's see. What else do we have? Next week in this spot, we have, I'm going to type it in right now, drawing through the storm with E. Joy Mayer. It's November 11th. Today is November 4th. My dad's birthday today. Boy, really making it interesting, huh, Tom? Maybe I should share my screen really fast for one of our last moment. I'm stuck without my screen. All right, there we go. We told you all that. We told you that. Go to learn.sawcomics.org. There's a couple seats left for some of these. Actually, I think Beth's thing is sold out. I'll get you there, or I'll let you know more. Members.sawcomics, hashtag Friday Night Comics, @Comics Workshop. Lawrence's stuff will be in the window too. Thanks for your donations. Your tuitions and donations help make these free. We'll skip that one. No appropriate speech, keep it PG-13, please. Enjoy. Here's Lawrence. And I don't know if this is going to be, oh yeah, we need those transcriptions. Thank you. I don't know if this is going to be a silent workshop or what, but here we go. I'm going to spotlight. I could spotlight. Lawrence has two. Oh, there. Hey, Lawrence, I'm going to spotlight that one. You're also co-host, but if you want TuneRog 99 spotlighted or co-hosted or anything, let me know.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can.
If you hear like crying, my baby's only 2 months, so it's time for them to eat. So yeah. All right. Let me share my screen. Uh-oh.
Awesome. We can see it.
Awesome. Cool. So there we go. All right. So today is Experimental Comics with me. I'm Lawrence Lindell. I'm a cartoonist from California. And yeah, there's all the social media stuff. I barely just got back on this year, so not like I'm on it, but not on it. But you can mostly find my stuff at my website, lawrencelindell.com. I have a book coming out next year with Drawn and Quarterly called Blackward. It's exciting. We just went over covers today, what the cover might look like. So that's cool. I have a book coming out with RH Graphic. It's a middle grade graphic novel. We just went over covers last month, so that's cool. Pages for this. You might be wondering why I chose experimental comics. It's because I also do a lot of experimental comics as well as just straightforward graphic novels, mini comics, web comics. I do some stuff with the New Yorker as well. But I got a grant from Koyama Press, and it's to do this experimental paint comic. And I'm kind of experimenting with the medium. And instead of, so it's a 10-piece comic that's about a conversation. So each painting leads to the next one. So in the speech bubbles, it leads to the next page. So it's like the comic is speaking the comic into existence, or at least that's what I'm attempting to do. I don't know if it actually works, but that's the point of experimenting. And then depending on where you start, you can read the comic in like circular fashion. So it doesn't matter where you start, the comic is just continuous. Haven't finished it yet, but I'm about 7 pages in. My baby. And I do Linnea House with my spouse, and we did an experimental comic in 2017 called One, and it's meant to be read from top to bottom. And we drew 2 comics simultaneously on the same page. So When I say experimenting, it's not just with comics, it's how the comic is read, how it's printed, and things like that. And yeah, I'm gonna skip ahead. So experimental, let me see, I'll close this. Of a work of art, oh, baby's not having a good time, I'm sorry. Involving a radically new and innovative style. Comics, I was looking at the definition of comics in the dictionary and I'm very disappointed because it just says comic strips. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I took the one from Wikipedia because I like the way it was written. But yeah, the way I explain experimental is experimenting with the form and the medium, and just trying new things out. And so for our workshop today, we're gonna create some loose 4-panel layouts for your comic. Thumbnail fashion, no grids. We're gonna stay away from the grids for today. And you're gonna get 5 minutes to sketch out layouts without context. I don't want you to think about what your story is about or what you want to put in the panels. I just want you to experiment with 4 panels and what that can look like. And here are some examples of what I'm going to experiment. So anywhere you see a P, that's the panel. And then later I'll explain what we're going to do with those 4 panels. So if you want to start sketching out some thumbnails of what 4 panels could look like on the page.
Can we watch you do that while we do it?
Yeah.
On the
switch cameras.
Let's see. Oh, cool.
Can y'all see that?
Oh, I see. Hold on. Yep.
All right, perfect. So when I did the painting series, the thing I wanted to challenge myself was trying to break down what a panel could look like. So typically, I used to do a lot of grids, like the standard comic panel grids. And then I started thinking, like, well, what could it look like if I just set up some panels without context and then tried to fill it in afterwards? Which is not a traditional way of working, which is why I like doing it, because it makes my mind kind of think about comics in a different way. And I also started using, so this is 1 panel, 2, 3, and then this open space counts as a panel for me. And so the idea of, well, all this space right here can be 1 panel.
Nice.
So the idea is just to be as bizarre as you can, even if it doesn't make sense or you don't know how you'll make it make sense in your comic. Because what's the point of making comics if we don't experiment with what we can do? In my humble opinion. Also think about how you want to lay out the comic. Me, I typically stay in the standard, like as you see, I'm used to drawing like the standard page, but there's a million ways to create a comic. Are you going to cut it out later? So will all your panels be circles? And then when you put the comic together, will it be in a circular format, or can it be in the way they lay out comic strips, but instead of doing the squares kind of like peanuts, you do long ways, but then 1 panel's half a circle here. So, just letting yourself be free. It doesn't need to make sense. It doesn't need to be perfect. You don't need to beat yourself up about it. I think the point of these workshops, I could be wrong, but is to kind of just explore the possibilities of what you're capable of, or what you didn't know you were capable of.
That sounds right to me. And a lot of us, I think, started when you said make 4 panels, we just did 4 panels, but you're doing page after page after page of 4 panels. So I assume you would recommend that we give that a whirl.
Options are always better to me, because the more options you have, the more you're able to kind of do. And you might make one you like today and you want to use later, but you don't use for today's class. So we'll do
Right.
about another minute and then we'll move on to the next step. I had music, but then I forgot we were streaming on YouTube and they might take it down. So
No, you can try it. It's actually really fun because when you do it, what happens is either it's okay, or they say you've got copyrighted music here and you need to replace it with our copyright free music. And it's kind of funny because it's pretty generic, but it's no problem really. It just sort of slots it in. I've enjoyed it. It's kind of weird. It's up to you.
All right, I'll try this. Is anything playing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. As I get started, we're moving on to the next step. Okay, where am I? Here we are. So what I want you to do is take 2 4-panels. I talk strangely, but so choose 2 of your 4 panels that you like, and we're gonna make an 8-panel comic, if that makes sense.
It doesn't. Choose two panels. Got it.
Yeah. So
Okay.
out of your thumbnails, choose 2 thumbnails, and so those 4 panels are gonna make an 8-panel comic.
Oh, choose two of the little versions, like the 2 of the mini pages or thumbnails of panels. Gotcha.
Yes.
So we're gonna 2 layouts, really, right?
Yeah, layouts.
Gotcha. But I'm putting that in the chat.
Yeah, because sometimes I say things to myself and I'm like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. And I said, I was like, wait, that doesn't make sense.
We love clear instructions here. And so Nina is asking, do we put both on the same page, or what would you recommend for that?
That's going to be up to you. That's where the experimenting is going to come in. Do you see all 8 panels on the same page, or do you see it as a 2-page comic? Is it a 4-page comic? So you take half of your 4 panels and split them into. That's really up to you. I don't want to give you too many guys because of the fact that we're trying to experiment, and I don't want to be too rigid with the guidelines. Things that I do think you should think about is, how is your comic meant to be read? That might determine how many pages you break it into. Is it wordless, or does it have dialogue or maybe narration? That also might determine how you break up the panels, and how we use the gutter and the negative spaces between the panels.
Okay, I'm putting that in the chat too. How's your comic meant to be read? Will it be wordless or have dialogue, maybe narration? How can you use the gutter, negative spaces between panels?
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, let me show you what I kind of, this is how I imagine mine. So I'm gonna go with the 2 pages. So here's my 4 panels. This is 1, that's 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that's how I'm breaking mine in. It's going to be a 2-page comic.
I like the half circles.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I try to give myself like a little bit of a challenge. Because it's not, the point of this workshop is not to prove if you can draw or make comics. It's just to kind of expand your mind on how we make comics and try something new. You might hate it, and that's okay, but at least like you don't like it instead of saying I never tried it. Yeah, so no theme. Only requirements is that you have an 8-page, 8-panel comic, and that's it. That's literally the only requirement. And I know like usually you want more like steps and things like that, but I'm trying to challenge you to not have any steps and see what you make just based off the guys I gave you of the 8 panels. So I'm gonna draw right here.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to play the music again, and we'll see what happens.
Okay. And at least let us know what you think the end time might be best at. Maybe 40 after or something like that. Or
Yeah, because
yeah.
we want enough time to share, right?
Mm. Yeah, ideally that would be great.
Okay,
So
then yes.
yeah, boy, we're all flying without a net here. Usually we're like, okay, put exactly this in that panel, put exactly that in this panel.
Yeah, and I feel like the point of experimental, it would kind of be counterintuitive, at least for this workshop.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. And I think people who might want more structure can sort of like find each other in the chat and say, what are you doing yours on, or stuff like that. All right. Thanks, Lawrence.
Is the music too loud, too low?
It's okay to me.
Okay. Right. I'm gonna go right into color.
Lawrence, a lot of people wondering what music's playing.
Uh, so my idea was because it was I didn't want to copyright music, so I just made a bunch of music and put it into a playlist.
So you don't know.
No, I made it. Like I created it and put it into a playlist.
Oh, awesome. Oh my God, I'm listening to your music. Well, there you go, people in the chat. Put Lawrence's web info in again. That is awesome.
think we got about 5 minutes left.
Yeah, that seems about right.
We got about 3 minutes. And while we're wrapping up, I'll just kind of start talking about the process I took for my comic.
Sure. People have questions about it. They're wondering if you had a story ahead of time, what kind of story you're telling. You might also, can you flip it for us a little bit? So, because it's sideways for, yeah, like keep going.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, I think I can move the camera. All right. So mine's meant to be read from, well, it looks like it's meant to be read from top to bottom, but actually you can pick any part in the comic and start there. So this is how I started here, and each panel is leading to the next one. So kind of copying what I did with the paintings. So this character speaking this character into existence, this character speaking that character into existence, and so forth and so on. And then it eventually leads to the last panel, which is also the first panel. So that's a thought process I took. It's not so much, I don't know, I'm trying to play with this concept of like a comic creating itself, I guess you could say. So I'm really fascinated with that at the moment. I don't know if I'm successful, but I want to keep playing with it. And so that's why I keep making comics like this. Yeah, exploring and experimenting. I didn't have a story ahead of time, which is the fun of it. I think if I had a story ahead of time, it would be better planned out, but that wouldn't be the point of the assignment. Yeah, and so I stuck with, I picked 3 colors ahead of time, kind of pinkish blue and a yellow. That's pretty much all. That's the only structure I had. But I don't quite have it yet, but yeah, that's what I'm experimenting with. It's comics creating themselves. Like I don't know why I'm stuck on that at the moment, but
when you're stuck on things like that, it's good to just keep going. It really just, it tends to really bring fruitful results, you know? Very cool. My daughter calls that a 3-marker challenge, by the way. You pick 3 colors randomly and then you're stuck with them.
yeah, because you can create like a bunch of beautiful things if you have this expansive color palette, but it's like the point is to experiment. So if I limit it to 3 colors, like I have no choice but to like truly experiment and see what I can come up with.
Very cool. Yeah, you disappeared. When you come back on, will you do me a favor and go to, I think you're coming back. There we go. Will you do me a favor? Go to the reactions on your Zoom and raise your hand. And the reason is we're going to ask other people to raise their hand, and I don't want you to get lost in the grid. Will you find that? There we go. I'm going to raise mine too. Cool. So that means, Lawrence, if you're ready, we'll have people share.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We got some people already. We got Cheryl and Libby, and then Anna and Nina. So I'll just replace spotlights and you'll see. So Cheryl, when you're ready, there we go. Here we
go. So I did some doodles and I kind of like this one. So then I didn't know what to do. So I just drew a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. What is the thought process behind a bunch of stuff?
I think I liked one of your characters, so I kind of did some similar eyes and then maybe tried to do kind of old-timey kind of things. My cat isn't very old-timey. It's not very old-timey. Thank you. That was great. That was awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah,
awesome.
Thanks for everyone for like humoring me. I know this isn't like the traditional style of workshops, but I don't know, I wanted to try something different.
Love it, Lawrence. Thanks. Thanks, Cheryl. Okay, we'll go to Libby next. Once Libby's ready. Here we go. Oh, whoa.
Okay, I've been thinking about concussions lately. And so I did some circles and then this one became a skull, and that's what it feels like inside my head. I feel like a lot of bees and sort of static. So this was how I got the concussion, was skating and then falling, and then the bees and the trying to recover. And then my last, so that's the first 4 panels. And then for some reason, the circle I had on the second page became just a skull as 4 panels.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Got a concussion, Libby?
Oh yeah. I've had 4.
Oh.
Yeah. But 2 in the last few years. So yeah, it does interesting things to what you think.
Oh my gosh.
So
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Sorry about that. Yeah, thanks, Libby. Okay, we'll go to Anna next, and then Nina, and then Umi. Once we get Anna on screen. All right, maybe we'll go to Nina, and then we'll come back to Anna. Nina, come to you.
Okay, this was great, Lawrence, and your music is amazing. I did a bunch of thumbnails, and then from those, I decided to do this. And I have absolutely no idea why it just happened. I started just telling a story. I started with the eye and the mouth and the hands and the car. And then it just kind of went down the road. And I just let it go where it wanted. And when you said there were 4 minutes left, I had to draw the hat. So again, it doesn't make any sense, but it was really fun to just not really try to come up with something and just see where it goes.
Yeah, that's super cool. And I don't know, I've found that you might look at it later and be like, oh, that's what it was trying to say. But that's just me being like, oh, maybe it's something more.
Yeah, I agree. Cool, Nina. Thanks so much. Umi is there. Let's see. Hey,
Hi.
Umi.
Hey, sorry, I'm drawing this in my bed, and I'm so tired. So, um, so I did something like this. So I started from person sitting in a toilet, and my guts, and my cat escaped in a gutter, and then I ordered a Burger King delivery for some reason, and the sink was broken, and the burger digested, and the person was having so much hard time underneath, and I was looking at it from the staircase that was so steep. So I don't know. I didn't do this thumbnail, but like I just went right ahead. Yeah, so that's what I did. It's actual construction of a toilet, so I didn't want to have to struggle with the storyline. Thank you.
Umi, that was amazing. That's the first time I've seen of the video description of, or the process. That was pretty cool.
I think like everybody can do this with the Procreate, and it's
Yeah,
kind of easier. It's a really great reminder for myself to enjoy what I did. Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Umi. We'll go to Sarah and Scout next.
I guess it's just me. She's hiding.
Okay.
I let the music take me where it took me, and it took me back home to where I grew up, and that's Chicago. And then it took me to my house. And then you open the door, and in my house where I lived with my Polish grandmother was a Chinese Buddha statue for some reason. And then I zoomed in my mind on this Buddha that I used to see every time I came home, and it greeted me with its big smiles. And then from there, some reason it took me to where the grown-ups used to sit in the hallway and talk on the phone with the long cord. And then the cord took me to another grown-up sitting at the kitchen table. And then when that always happened, I relied on the TV. And then it took me, there was a bunch of static on the TV, which took me to my bedroom where I drew. So that was a really cool, unexpected journey to a place I appreciate it.
That's awesome, Sarah. Thanks.
Thanks.
Let's see. Scout's not showing, right?
No, she doesn't want to today.
All right. If a Hanu is there, we go to them. Otherwise, we'll go to Hannelore.
Hello.
There we go. Hang on.
So I kind of ended up spending all of my time on the first panel and very little on the second one. So it's a stark contrast between the two. I bet you can't tell which one was first. But actually, I wanted to show my thumbnails because I really liked some of the designs. But I did this one first and then thought it kind of looked like a face. So then I did this one, which was also 4. And I think I ended up kind of gravitating to the ones that were sort of face shaped. And so that was what I ended up doing. And so I sort of like, I'm not sure. I was kind of thinking like sort of maybe nature type thing with like the tree and the like stars or something, and maybe kind of underwater creature or something. And then these floating in like, oh my God, why is my screen flashing like this? Like floating in the sky and like with the colors of like a sunset in the background. And for the other page, I was kind of just messing around with what I had. because I didn't have much time left.
Awesome. Thanks. I think Lawrence is muted. I'm going to ask Lawrence to unmute. There we go. Hanu, is that painting? Is that paint or is it marker?
I used color pencils, markers, and fine liner and pencil.
Nice.
Awesome. Thanks.
Because I thought that I wanted to use a bunch of different things because I don't always use all my art supplies very much. So I thought it could be fun to use a bunch of different things. And it was.
Thanks. We'll go to Hannah next. Thanks so much, Hanu.
It's not really snowing here. That's a fake background.
What? How do you do that? Oh my gosh.
Isn't it great? So let's see. Oh, so I have to turn it off because my thing will not show if I have a background. I'll just choose none there. And this one is real. So I kind of like that one because I was thinking of pieces of paper overlapping, and then I had a lot of overlapping. And then when I did them in an 8-panel comic, they all became pieces of paper. So there's a lot of words, but it's like all in a day's paper trail, but not from this century. You know, it's like from maybe a few decades ago where people had newspapers. So all this stuff would pile up on every surface. You know, the newspaper with bad things, and then another piece of paper would be like final notice from last month, $999,000 to avoid a bad outcome, send your money. And then you're invited invitation and a little grocery list on a piece of yellow lined paper. Do the groceries and refill the propane, and oh, I put the propane twice because it's just, you know, not that organized. And then there would frequently be a letter from my mom back when people used to write letters. Dear Pookie, what a time your father and I have had with the raccoons in the attic. And it would be handwritten on paper, and so you'd have to turn it over. So you'd go on to, you know, because I hadn't realized you'd be there, and ending up. But then I suppose we always had before love XXXXX. Oh, mom.
It's cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah, like, yeah, I'm trying to be quiet so I don't take up people's time, but all of these are great. These are really amazing.
Lawrence, do you find that happens that sometimes where you draw the panels and then have an idea for what the panels actually are themselves? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of exploring this way, is that there's no set panel. Like what I thought was a panel might not be a panel. It turns into something else. I'm really interested in making comics in that way because we know how to make comics. Like, but like the mediums, just there's so much you can do with it that I don't see the point of not exploring it.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Hannah. Okay, we'll go to Lynn next. And let's see, there we go. Get that button, Lynn.
I got it. Well, this was fascinating. I've never done anything like this, and the music totally got me going. So I outlined and this it's 2 pages, but this is the first page, and so I like the idea of blank spaces. So this was a blank. This was 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I don't know. They just kind of turned into figures, and then I continued it with another page that I did another thumbnail. And they're not really related, but I just love the idea of like the figures and the panels and what's what, and you know that the objects that, yeah, I don't know. It's like kind of interesting to me to see that they're here. He's holding this one, and then I don't know. It's like pulling inside and outside of the panel. So it's just very cool. I mean, if I played with it, I think I might be able to come up with some kind of concept. But that was fun. It was really great.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, like I like that they weren't necessarily figures to start with, but that's where your mind went.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Lynn. We'll go to Shivani next, and then Dara, then Lizzie.
All right, let's see if it's going to show up because it's pencil. But so the whole thing ended up being about the panel. It's like about the borders, and so like each character kind of refused to stay in their shape. So this was this one just kind of breaking out here, and this one kind of climbing out. I don't know what's going on there. This one's in the mountains and escaping. I don't know what the story is. And then this next, it just barely makes it. The top of this frame is on the other page, so it was also not staying in. And so that ended up being the theme of like reaching out of the panel was, yeah. There we go.
Yeah, I like again, I'm trying not to like take up everybody's time, but I like where everyone's mind went. And I feel like if I gave you more instructions and limitations, we might not have gotten to this point. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really like not having anything to, yeah, it was fun.
Awesome, Shivani. Thanks. Okay, we're gonna go to Dara and then Lizzie, then Charlie.
Hey, I hope it's okay. My 6-year-old who is drawing in the background drew along with us, and he wants to share. So his name's Franklin, and he wants to show you what he worked on with his boxes. You know, I'm holding it.
So long as Franklin kept it PG-13, it's okay.
Oh yeah, I think he did. Okay, tell him what you drew.
So this is my robot, and it automatically makes these boxes.
It's kind of like a comic making robot, I think. So
yeah.
Does
Lawrence,
the robot have a name?
Thank you.
Wow, thanks so much, Lawrence. Yeah, that's what we need, a robot that makes panels for us. Dara and Franklin, thank you. That's awesome. All right, we'll go to Lizzie next.
Hello. I did some panel designs, and then I kind of like the triangle getting kind of bigger as it goes down, and then also sort of like shrinking down. So maybe kind of like made me think about playing with scale. So I made a booklet, but then I did it in reverse. So started kind of like deeper, coffin in the dirt, going like scale kind of bigger earthworm, and we got like roots, also just like earth on top of it all. Like, I don't know, I thought about just doing the earth. I didn't really finish the front, but I was thinking like maybe another, you know, surface level, and then maybe a tree from afar, and then some sky stuff maybe come later. So maybe not really in order, but just playing around with size and place.
Really nice.
Yeah, super cool.
Cool. Thanks so much, Lizzie. We'll go to Charlie and then Janine and then Kathy. Here we go.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks, Lawrence. This was awesome. I kind of went, oh, wait, hold on. I have to stop my background. Do that. Does anyone know how to stop your background?
And also hold it in front of your body, and then that
Let's
can
do that. Can you see it?
We did for a second.
You have to have your body included in it too.
Okay. How's that?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Can you come back to me?
Sure. We'll go to
Okay.
Janine if Janine is ready, and you figure that out, Charlie. Ask in the chat. I'm sure somebody knows how to do that. All right, there's Janine. All right.
Halloween. So I didn't do 8 panels. I was just having fun with the shapes, and so I drew the shapes, and then the words came, and then the pictures. So first one is just the cloud speaking through hair, and then speaking is power, and then identity, writing a book or reading this book, but it's about writing a book, and then seeing oneself, something like that.
Nice.
Thanks, Janine. So full of color too. Thanks so much. All right, I think Charlie figured it out. We're gonna go back to Charlie.
I did. Okay, thank you, everyone. Okay, so I kind of went with those limited colors as well. I was inspired by you, Lawrence. There's a person, and they seem to be seeking very clearly from their shirt for something, and time is important. And then there's a door that has tools behind it, but this person doesn't know how to get. You need a number for it, and then lips appear out of a mobile phone and give the number. So that's the number to get into the door to get to the tools. So anyway, thank you. This was fun.
Nice. It was just like people helping you do your screen. You got the numbers from the chat.
Right, there we go. It was like foreshadowing. Thanks.
Awesome, Charlie. Thanks. I like this word seeking on a character. Sure, that's pretty cool. All right, we're gonna go to Kathy next. Here we go.
Oh, I have a chat in front of me. There we go. So I kind of just tried to draw my internal landscape of the week, and it wasn't a great week. So, but anyways, so it just kind of felt tight and small and bigger, and it was just really great to just not try to draw characters tonight and just do this. So thank you.
Wow, I'm hearing that a lot, Lawrence. People really happy for the freedom to just, I don't know, poke around, futz around, let the mind go, something like that.
I'm happy to hear, because in my mind, I'm like, they're gonna be like, why did you bring him to this workshop?
All right, we'll go to Ash next, and then Douglas, then Felice.
Hey, so I've actually been thinking about my dad a lot, and I don't speak to him anymore. So I don't know, something introspective was going to happen probably. So if you can't read the text here, says one thing at a time, I let you go. And on the other one, I ended up going with, and through the pieces, I must find myself if I'm there. I know that there's not like an easy way to explain that without being obvious, but I really liked that we had to do the panels first, because I definitely did some stuff that I probably would not have ever thought to do otherwise. So thank you for the freedom there.
Yeah, that's amazing, Ash. Thanks so much. And keep going if that's working for you. You know, sometimes this can be something to take forward, right? Making those panels ahead of time, and it can free us up in other ways. We'll go to Douglas, Felice, and Arthur. Here we go.
Hello, can you hear me?
Whoa, sure can.
Cool. Yeah, the microphone on my computer is broken, so I have to like use my one that plugs in. So this is my comic. I started off very small, and I zoomed in, and then the backside, I just flipped around to like a landscape way of doing it. So it's like someone looking out their door and seeing him, and then joining. And by the way, this is my second workshop. I just found you guys online randomly, and it's really cool. So thank you, and thank you, Lawrence, because this really gave me a lot of cool ideas.
Yeah,
awesome.
Thanks, Lawrence. And thank Douglas. Thanks for finding us. Awesome.
Happy to be here.
All right, we'll go to Felice next. Hey, Felice. Nice to see you.
Hey, nice to see everybody too. I'm only able to be here because I'm homesick from work. So, you know, this is my silver lining. But the layouts that I chose this is something I've been doing a lot lately, where I kind of try to use the background elements as like a firm border, and you'll see it in the actual thing. And then this shape just kind of made me think of a sunrise with like the semicircle with rays coming out of it. So that inspired the story. And a lot of times when I use backgrounds as like a border of a panel, I feel like it's really easy for me to like fall back on fences, because it's just a nice even line across a lot of the time. So mine's so messy, but it's a spray painting turf war punk story. But we got the sneaky eyes. Then this is probably a bad idea, tying the like bandana around their head. Then, you know, spray painting, and then at night in the dark, kind of too dark to see what it looks like. Then here in the morning, you've got reaction shots first. So an oh my, and someone thinks it's funny. This guy's really pissed about it. And it says Rocker J sucks. And he's like, it's on, what the heck? And like, I don't know why that came to me, but probably because fences make me think of spray painting. But I really like using like the elements of the image in front as like the border for the like panel behind. But thanks. Yeah. And also, yeah, Lawrence, thank you very much. This has been cool. I don't get to come to these often. I was really excited to be able to catch this one.
Cool. Thanks so much, Felice. We'll go to Arthur, Marlene, and Max. Here we go.
Hi. Thank you for this. So I did 2 pages, 4 panels each. I'm not sure how well this is going to show. But basically, I actually drew them like this first, but then I ended up filling them like this. That makes sense. So, you know, it ended up being a diary comic. This one was a little bit more interesting in terms of layout, I think. And the result is that you read the panels 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. I like dynamic movement that makes you turn the book sometimes. So that was fun to do. Thanks.
Wow, that's really lovely, Arthur. Thanks. And please, people, share online if you can, and this gives us a chance to, like, for the ones that are going by really quick, we can take a look and drink it in and spin our phones, you know, or whatever. But really appreciate that. Thanks, Arthur. We're going to go to Marlene next. Oh, Marlene, I think you're still muted.
Yeah, I was just saying thank you to Tom for the invitation. Thank you, Lawrence, for your lovely presentation. Always a pleasure to listen to good ideas and your generosity to share with us. My comic drawing today is all about our familiar Omicron virus, and very annoying because I've been in lockdown for some time because of it and feeling the pressure. So I've got good and evil viruses. You can guess from my drawing, the black one is evil chasing the one in blue. And the blue virus is saying, I need to run. I need to get away from him. He's going to get me. So I divided that panel in half, but I put in 2 caricatures. The next one is the evil one saying, I'm not going to stand for this. I'm fighting back. but he's resorting to old style tactics, the bow and arrow, the trusty bow and arrow, to fight the Omicron. And he's very determined. You can see in his eyes, his body stance and everything says, come on, show yourself so I can get hold of you. And then next is another warrior. He grabbed a baseball bat and said with very big red eyes, I'm going to fight as well. I'm joining you. And we're going to get rid of this virus. And I use a little symbols there to show his determination going to look for the evil. So he's good as well, trying to protect the world and us. Then finally, they both beat him to a pulp. He's lying on his back. And he's completely in comatose. And he's given up. So I think this was a good exercise in using my imagination. I just drew, and then finally it came up with a good and evil story. So thank you very much for having me.
Thanks, Marlene. Wow. Thanks so much. Okay, we're going to go to Max and then Michael, then Shelley.
Hi, yeah. I'm Max. This is my daughter Joey. She's still trying to decide if she's going to share. We've been to these several times, but this is the first time we're sharing. So thanks so much for this. I don't know how much you'll be able to see. Let's see. So I did this sort of like long panel on this side, which made me think of acupuncture needles because it seemed to like fit in the shape. And then I've been going to acupuncture for a couple of years, and oftentimes I'm laying on the table thinking about drawing a comic about acupuncture. So this was the perfect opportunity. So here you can see the entrance has this sort of like idealistic porch with these like a long ivy that grows over it, so it looks like you're walking into this idealistic place. And then but then the table setup looks very like medical, and then that's the acupuncturist Craig saying hi, and then here are some scenes of me like on the table, and then me thinking about drawing this comic at the end. Yeah, do you want to share? Okay, here we go. I'm going to turn this up.
So I did a drawing where this is me, and I wanted the pizza, but it wasn't mine, and I was trying to steal it while Max was in the bathroom because they spilled pizza on them. And then this is them saying, hey, because I'm eating their pizza. Then they have to eat yucky soup because I ate all the pizza and I get to watch TV.
And then what's happening?
And then it's time for bed, and
Why did you take your hand out?
Max says no, and I say okay, and then Alma said go to your room, and Max said fine, and then I'm brushing my teeth, and I went to bed, and then that's Mama saying ugh.
So thanks so much. This was great.
Thanks for sharing for the first time. Please do it again. All right, Lawrence, we got 3 more. You all right? Hanging in there? We got Mike.
I'm good.
Awesome. Michael, Shelley, and Chris, and then maybe Jamie if we're so lucky. Michael, you need me to read this or anything? Sure. What's it say? Oh, well, we're just looking at some cool panel borders. I see the middle one. We all sort of copied, or at least I copied Lawrence in some ways. I added some circles, I added some overlap. All right, I'm going to read Michael's comic.
Oh, I love
Well,
that.
I can't read that. Goes over, huh? Tell me if I'm doing okay, Michael. Oh, and look at that last panel where Michael, the character, is like sort of bowled over by some sort of happy idea, and the character driving is is confident also, and oh, it's funny. Wow. Lawrence, you do that all the time with different kinds of language, right? Like language symbols and things.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah, I think it's a thing that's not explored enough in comics as well. This idea of like the characters talking to each other, but we don't know what they're saying, only through their body language kind of thing.
Yeah. What's Michael got in his brain on that last panel is terrific. Something got into his brain. All right, Michael, thanks. It's nice to see you. Okay, Shelley and then Chris.
This is my first time being at one of these things. So
welcome.
I don't know how to do this. How's my video? So I mean, I just drew stuff. You know, I just drew panels and then I sort of filled them in with things in mind. I want to go to France next on a community college art immersion thing. So I'm trying to figure out how to get there. But anyway, I don't know. I just doodled. So anyway, but it was fun. Thank you for the music.
Thanks, Shelley. I think we got a lot of people saying that. You know, I took the music in, I drew inside the panels, and I had some fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe those will get you to France. Wishing you luck. All right, we're going to go to Chris and then like Anna.
Right. This is quite challenging because I'm not used to drawing spontaneously, and I'm not used to drawing, connections between things. But this starts out with somebody on a submarine, and then somebody is sort of worrying about somebody on a submarine, and then things you might encounter on or near a submarine. Again, somebody staring at the ceiling at 3 o'clock in the morning, probably thinking about someone on a submarine. And then there's the submarine just out in the ocean.
We see the top half again, Chris?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah. That's my favorite.
So it all came together. I mean, I had no idea what to do after this, but then it just kind of filled itself in.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Ina is very insistent that the submarine is the subconscious. So you guys can chat about
Not
that.
insistent, it was just a typo.
Oh, subconscious. I see. Right. Awesome. Okay.
Thanks a lot. It was great.
Okay, we've got Anna here, and then we'll finish with Jamie if Jamie's around. Here we go. Hi, Anna. Or who's there? You might have to unmute.
Hi, my name is. Hello, everybody. Oh, thank you.
This is my first time.
This is my first time here. This is my comic. It's about there's this thief who robbed the bank, and there's this cat watching him, and then the chief of the police hears about the news. Then he calls this cop, and then he the cat follows the thief, and the thief turns into some evil monster with red eyes.
So I'm the mom. Thank you for the opportunity. You guys have us show yours. We have the whole family doing stuff here. And thank you so much for the meeting and for the great group. It was awesome for us, and for sure we're gonna be here every Friday.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks so much. Awesome colors. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for the story about the thief. It's so interesting. All right, we'll go to Mishka and then Jamie. I was wondering if we'd see Mishka today.
I had my hand raised and then I lowered it, and Kathy's making me share. Hi, Kathy. So I made shapes and then they started looking like letters. So I wrote my name, Mishka. Do you see it? M-I-S with a hot check, K-A. Those were the shapes. There's a ladybug that's falling kind of through this hourglass kind of thing that's making a shower on a South Pacific island. Then there's kind of a falling figure going into sort of a 2001 spent space-time thing over here, where people are kind of folding in on themselves. And then there's a tunnel. The end.
The subconscious. Mishka, thanks.
Was I muted that whole time?
No, we
Oh,
heard
okay.
you. Awesome. Thanks, Mishka. All right, Jamie, you are gonna.
Those colors were so gorgeous. And no, you were not muted, but I should be clearly because it's going to go all wrong again. Okay, so Tom gave me the prompt. I was like, oh, we could do anything. And then I thought, oh, you have nothing in your head. What would we do? So I saw the morning, do something with the morning. And I was, last week was at my mom's house. She's at the hospital. So I'm like home alone at my mom's. And it's a very weird predicament to be in because you're like, it's not my home, but like, well, all right, where the heck is the coffee maker? And she's telling me it's there. So I'm tearing up the whole, so here's me in the morning. Oh, there. And I'm like, what the hell did she do with the coffee maker? And then that's my empty cup. And then there's my eyeball. Like, God, I really need the coffee. So then I'm like tearing up the pantry. Where is it? Because she keeps telling me it's there. And then I'm like, she probably gave it to the veterans or something. Like, I don't know. Then I'm laying on the floor, pitching a full fit. Like, I need my coffee, my empty cup, whatever. And then I have like the light bulb moment where I flash back to college and I'm like, oh shit, you can make your own coffee maker if you just have paper towels and clothespins and the desire to do it. So I got like a strainer and clothespins and made a funnel. And then I made the coffee and then it was I'm smiling here, but that is a lie because it was a stone cold, unsatisfying experience. It reminded me of that old movie Baghdad Cafe when the big fat German lady, who is built a lot like me, comes marching across the desert and becomes friends with Whoopi Goldberg and sits down, has a cup of coffee, and she goes, that's not coffee, that's brown water. And I was like, oh, you've made brown water because you just, it doesn't have enough time to percolate. It just slides through. But hey, I was happier here with the brown water than I was earlier with nothing. But lady gray, old gray lady tea, whatever she had, that sucked. Anyway, that's my comic. Thank you. This was so great. I love everything about this whole thing. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jamie. We have one last minute request. Dara is here. Let's see. There we go. Thanks, Jamie.
Yeah, thank you for humoring me. I thought I'd jump in and share mine. It was super fun, Lawrence, because I just got to like go really abstract here and just so what you're seeing is like sort of a cityscape almost at the top that then becomes reflected. And I was thinking about like a lot of above and below, and then there's like these dandelion things and here's the roots, but then there's a hand down below that's like yanking one of them down through. And then I just kept going like lower. So there's little, I don't know, some kind of little bugs down underground, and then like a wave of tree roots and down into some sort of cave down below. So it was cool to kind of just keep going lower and lower into these different areas. So thanks for letting me share, and thanks for the awesome open-ended prompt.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm going to spotlight back Lawrence. Yeah. Hey, Lawrence, thanks. I think a lot of people had that same sort of sentiment, where like the open-endedness, but also like the new kind of panel borders, like just gave them a sort of way to sort of just dream something into that space or dream something onto that paper and do some weird subconscious stuff, or that's what I saw a lot of anyway.
Yeah, I love it. I love everyone's take on it.
Yeah.
I like how some is humorous, some is not, and it's just, I don't know. I'm always amazed when I come here because there's not a lot of time, and what everyone's able to do with like the limited amount of time is pretty amazing.
Yeah, there's some really great stuff. Thanks so much. And also that was all your music, right? So I want everyone to know that. Okay. So, and they can find that on your website?
No, I just made it because I knew YouTube might take the video down. So I was like, oh, I gotta put something.
So we can't
Wow.
find that music on your website?
No, I mean I make music, but that stuff was made specifically to play today. So
Oh my God.
Amazing.
You're all right. Well, everybody, we'll have to rip an MP3 from the YouTube video, and then you'll all be happy. All right, let's all say goodnight and give Lawrence a big round of happiness and applause and thank you. So, Lawrence, thank you so much, and just have a great time with that.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy your baby.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
Thanks, everybody. Oh, there's Umi's cat.
Have fun with your baby.
Thanks for everybody who shared. Thanks for people who didn't. There's sharing opportunities on social media or at SAW, and thanks for being here. Thanks to the families. Thanks for the children. Thanks to the cats. Thanks to the introverts who stayed hidden. That's okay too. Thanks everybody. All right. Good night.